Hello and welcome, I'm Raziel. And so today, actually not today, I had an epiphany, a moment of clarity, a sudden realisation of all of this that's going down. And I realised what the problem was. See, you got these people with their political discussions, whether you're on the left or you're on the right, it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. Because GW doesn't care. Actually, none of these big companies do. Actually, they want you to fight. They want you to fuel the flames and constantly bicker about a certain game or company or whatever. They want you to do that. They want you to do that because it trends. It gets them higher up in the whatever algorithm you're using. Twitter, YouTube. It doesn't matter. It goes to the old adage. There's no bad There's no such thing as bad publicity. No publicity is bad publicity. And so they get you fighting and discussing and arguing about their product, and you're fighting amongst yourselves, and you do this, buying their product, consuming their product, doing exactly what they want. And while you're fighting amongst each other, you aren't laying the blame at what the actual problem is. See, have you noticed the saying, everything the left touches turns to shit? That's a common phrase. Now, that may be true, there may be argument there. But if you're producing a bad product, and you know you're producing a bad product, what's the best way to distract people from understanding that your product is bad? Well, in this day and age of clickbait and arguments and discussion on social media, it's to get the two sides fighting. Because the second they stop and they realise what the problem is, then they start losing money. Then they start having issues because both sides will suddenly realise that the product is bad and that they will no longer buy it. Now, this came to be when I realised one thing. When someone or a company ends up getting bad reviews, or people just saying that company's crap and all that nonsense, suddenly they'll say something that will automatically and quickly fan the flames. Let's take Assassin's Creed Shadows. We all suspected that Yusuke was going to be the main character, the black samurai retainer, whatever you want to call him. We kind of knew that he was going to be the one. Assassin's Creed hasn't been good for quite a while. I know some people like Valhalla and Odyssey, or Origins, one of those two. I played that one. Wasn't a fan. It was quite boring, actually. I found it tedious. But they make bad products, and then they hype up something that's quite innocuous. Notice how they are getting people to shout out that people who are against Yusuke, that they are calling them racist. And now when they do that, people's backs gets up, and they start shouting about Assassin's Creed and how they wanted a Japanese character. I mean, it's a fair argument to have in a game that's set in Japan, and given that there hasn't been a Assassin's Creed game which has been set in a country without someone actually being from that country, or what the game is about, such as Black Flag. This is one that's been brought up. The main character of Black Flag's in the Caribbean, but he's not Caribbean. No, he's not, because that's not where it's set. It's set on the seas. It's a pirate game. Understand? So, then they do this massive change, and it gets people's backs up because, they expected something a bit more historically accurate. So while this was all going on, there's suddenly a press release that the two main characters from Assassin's Creed Shadows are LGBTQ plus whatever, right? Alphabet people. Oh, no. Let's think about it. They've been fighting about him being black, so why would they go out of the way to fan the flames? See? Now, when I see stuff like this, it's like, wait, I think this is going to be rubbish. And again, we can see this in other times when they, heavily publicised Miss Captain Marvel. It was all about her being female. The whole thing was about her being female. All of it, all the advertising was about her being female. Now, see, that just made people want to go and buy it or watch it because, she's female. And then when people started saying it was bad, which, by the way, in my opinion, it is, soon as anyone said that, they were considered misogynist. Not that the film is actually bad, because, yeah, it's bad. I mean, you can like bad films, I'll always give you that. It's, that's absolutely fine. You can like whatever you like. But when something's bad, then all of a sudden, they will try and distract that, because they don't want you to talk about the quality, how bad the quality's going. And we all know Games Workshop's quality's going down the shitter. We know this. It's happened a lot. We've had, the last 3 editions have been absolutely crap rule sets. The current is one of the worst. I know people like it, but it's not. It's not very good at all. The writing in the novels has gone downhill. When you have a grim, dark universe and you make a comedic book about one of the darkest races that you deal with Necrons, and make that book a comedy more than it is anything else, and when your kids' books are actually darker and more violent than your adult books, yeah, your quality is going absolutely down the drain. And Games Workshop knows this. So they sneakily released that Female Custodies, knowing it would get people's backs up. Of course. And then, of course, while this was going on, they released that lovely statement saying they were always female custodies. And so the arguments continued. Not actually ever questioning the content and quality of the actual codex itself. That actually did come up quite a bit, and a lot of people have given it very bad reviews, but long as this argument about female custodians is existing, people are going to ignore the reviews. They're going to ignore the more objective side on when something is good or bad. And now they've got, more models coming out, another codex coming out. So they release the edited, and I will say, if it was edited, when it was edited, so all those people who were against this stuff, this was a win for you, and you should have accepted the win. You should have said, thank you, Games Workshop, this is a step in the right direction. And then you had the second one with the pronouns. Because this tells me this New Age of Sigmar is going to be a pile of crap. This New Age of Sigmar edition is going to be absolutely god-awful. Because they want you arguing about everything else. I've yet to see anything on social media, to be honest with you, about the new rules or the new articles coming about Age of Sigmar. Now, I've said that I'm not going to talk about it. And that is because I'm not buying their product anymore. I'm not going to endorse them. But I want people to understand what they're doing is to stop you talking about the bad stuff. The actual stuff that is important to you. Because the second you guys stop fighting, Games Workshop loses. Every company will lose as soon as everyone stops fighting. And that's what they don't want. Because they don't want you to go over and play other games. They don't want you to play one-page rules. They don't want you to 3D print. They don't care if you 3D print at home. As long as you're not playing someone else's game. That's what they don't want. They don't want you to go out and buy something else. They don't want you to go and promote or support their competitors. They hate it. That's the absolutely worst thing you can do. What they want is for you to help them, publicise them, make them more well known. And when you're sitting there fighting about it, and you're fighting about something completely innocuous, even better. Because the second you stop, and think about it, Games Workshop's going to lose out. EA's going to lose out. Ubisoft's going to lose out. People are going to go, actually, these games are awful. I'm not playing this game, it's awful. I'm going to go play a good game now. I'm going to go, paint some better models. I'm going to do something with my money that's actually worth it. And break away. And people call me a coward for doing that. Because no, I've not run away because of politics. I left because I found something better. I found plenty better. That's the problem. I found so much better. But going back to Games Workshop right now would be a complete downgrade for me. It would be. And that's it. That's basically my point. It's that Games Workshop wants you to argue. Continue arguing. Continue calling me a chud. Keep calling me a tourist. I don't care. Honestly, because you're doing them a favour. You are. You're doing Games Workshop a favour because you're going to continue arguing about this. There you go. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was quite fun actually. This was enjoyable. And I'll see you all in the next one. If you want to try some other games from, which are not Games Workshop, go to Wayland Games down below. Free delivery after £20. Mine would suggest Wild West Exodus. Fantastic minis, fantastic game. I've yet to see anyone really make any real complaints about it because, I'll be honest with you, the rules are pretty well written to a point that you can sort of just see what they mean and not really question it. There's also Forbidden Planet for all your cool geeky stuff, DVDs, comics, books, plushies, toys, all that cool stuff. There's my merchandise, which is t-shirts, I'll do the comics in a second, t-shirts and mugs and books and notebooks. There's my comic as well, that's down below. There is also Skyforge, don't forget to give that guy a click. And finally there is, what's the last one? Finally. Oh, Patreon, because business. Bye bye.